Welcome to Recovering Addict. I'm LT, your host for this wonderful Wednesday evening, and I am an alcoholic addict.
I'm Felice Weaver, married to this alcoholic addict right here, whom I love dearly.
So what the heck are you getting yourself into? You clicked on this video, and now you want to know. Well, 2 times in my life, I've hit rock bottom due to alcohol and drugs. Early 2000s was meth, committed a felony, got locked up, been there, done all the war crimes and literal crimes you can think of. And I got off of that. Got locked up for a year, ended up on probation for a few years, and then I was clean. I stayed clean for a good solid 5 years. After I got probation, I smoked weed for a while. Then I got clean to get a job. And so that 5 years that I had that job to stay clean, I was clean as a whistle. But then when I was 33, I started casually drinking. And then by the time I hit about 36, it turned into a pint a night. By the time I was 37, 38, 39, it just kept increasing until I just drinking a fifth a night. I had to check myself into a detox center to come off of alcohol. When I spent 5 months in an IOP, I worked steps 1 through 5 there. I was in that IOP for 5 months, and I'm still continuing to go there once a week in a program called Aftercare in the same place. And I got 10 months under my belt now, and I'm not looking back. Recovery was something I didn't do when I was clean for 5 years, because recovery isn't about your clean time. Clean time is good. Abstinence is the key. But recovery is taking care of what goes on in your mind, all your character defects, your insecurities. So today I want to try something new with y'all. Got all our family up in the chat. Everybody take a second. Think about some of your personality strengths and list some in the chat. I want to see some personality strengths that you see in yourself. If you're a good cook, if you are good at word puzzles, whatever it is, anything. If you're good at math, if you're a leader, if you're a hard worker, anything that you see positive in your personality, some strengths that you own that are you, put it in the chat. I want to see what y'all got to say.
Empathetic, says Karen.
Karen's very empathetic. Welcome, Karen. Is that a new face in town? Oh man, look at that. I made it all tiny. I made it tiny because I wanted to show Teeter, because I made Teeter his thing. But I don't like it small. There we go. That's fixed. Did Cassie upload yet? Yes. Alrighty. We were late because I was trying to get Cassie's little video uploaded. Let's go back to that. There we go.
Someone's a good grandma. Who's that?
Awesome. Hi, Linky. Linky's in the chat, y'all.
Tracy.
Danielle, right? I had years clean before alcohol became a problem, and a couple years ago, yeah, me too. And not only was I clean, my diet was spot on. My working out was spot on. I could run a mile, and I think my fastest mile I clocked was 6 minutes and 20 seconds. I could bench 315. I could squat close to 500 pounds. I could rep it out. I could deadlift over 405. You know, I was fit. I was getting ready to run what is that? An Ultra Beast? It was not Ragnar, the other one. But it was an Ultra Beast.
Spartan.
The Spartan. I was getting ready to race a Spartan, and then I tore my ACL. And then I started casually drinking after that. It led to nothing good at all.
Danielle said she loves cooking.
I'm good at eating pizza. I just ate pizza today. I ate pizza right before I jumped on here. I ate 3 big old slices. Good at some cooking and good at driving Teeter crazy.
There you are, Andrew.
Sounds like you're a good driver. So if you just got here, list some positive character, some positive personality strength that you see in yourself.
Cherie loves dancing.
Oh yeah, we've seen a couple of one of her jigs. That was cool.
Donna, good at leading the team at work.
Teeter. Hey, look what I did for you, Teeter.
No,
I couldn't get it on the top, but I could put it here. We recover better together.
Nice.
I'll leave it there for you.
Hey, Sawyer House.
Sawyer House in the house. Right on. Good to see you. Brittany says she is very helpful, caring, kind, and compassionate. I can see that. I can see by the way you raise your daughters. Your and Jerry's relationship's really cool too. Merck, if you just got here, list a personality strength. We were talking about positivity because what we are going to get into today is conflict resolution. And it's not what you think. It's not, well, it leads to conflict between people, but it's conflict with yourself and what's in your mind. And we're going to look at the difference between neurosis and psychosis. I wanted to spell those out because it starts off a paragraph where I just needed to know. And I'm glad you all are here.
Cooks in the house, making me hungry.
She's a good makeup artist? Awesome. Good for you.
Very cool.
That's art. That's like artistry. That's
art.
art. Yeah. That's you got to know the color wheel. You got to know how skin colors match the color of the stuff you're using. That's good. Desmond, he's good at writing question marks. Good job, Desmond. Hi, Mom. Hey, Murd, my mom, if you just joined right now, everybody's dropping in the link one of their personality strengths, something they see in themselves that is positive. And we'll get towards the end of the show why we're doing this little exercise right here. Mark says, oh, and I'm compassionate. What is this first one? Loyalty, kindness, and beautiful and kind. Oh, yeah. I could definitely see that. Love with everything I have. Oh, good. That's not easy to do because love's a verb. And you have to go out and treat people kindly when you don't want to necessarily, you know?
Sky, and Mark,
Sapper, what's going on?
Copy and paste your dating profile.
Who said that?
Sky.
To who?
To Mark.
That's great.
That's funny.
So this is a show all about relapse prevention, understanding addict thinking, helping us stay sober, working the 12 steps. Anything that has to do with recovery, we're going to cover that topic. We're going to go through books. We're on our third book right now called Addictive Thinking. Every day we read out of the 24-hour a day before we kick off into our book. And today is June 10th, and here is our AA thought for the day. When we reach the bottom at this crucial moment, when we were thoroughly licked, we turn instinctively to whatever decency is left in us. We call upon whatever reserves or of morality and faith are left down deep in our heart. Here's our question. Have I had this spiritual experience? Have we had that spiritual experience? The world wonders when it sees a person who can unexpectedly draw large and unsuspected sums from the bank for some emergency. But what the world has not seen are the countless small sums paid into the bank, earned by faithfully work over a long period of time. And so is the bank of the Spirit. The world sees the person of faith and makes a demand on God's stores of power, and the demand is met. The world does not see what that person has put in thanks and praise and prayer and communion, in small good deeds done faithfully, steadily over the years. Are you storing up treasure in heaven? That's what that's about. If you see a faithful, strong, spiritually fit person, and you're thinking, wow, just remember that didn't happen overnight. There was tragedy, there was loss. He experienced life just like the rest of us, he or she. And practice storing treasure in heaven to be able to draw from that spiritual bank. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may keep making deposits in God's bank. I pray that in my hour of need, I may call upon these. And if you guys are getting value out of this, forget. Oh, dang it. I let that comment right in the way. I had a cool new thing to show you. I was going to do it all smooth. Tomorrow it will be smooth, I swear, but this is what it was. And just like storing up bank, being a professional YouTube, talk show, podcast, whatever the heck you want to call this, it takes practice.
Your mom said she's good at finances.
Yes, she is very good at finances. My mom is really good with money. And Linky has a quote for us.
Act as if what you do makes a difference. It does. William James.
Huh. Act as if something you do makes a difference.
It does.
Because it does. Oh, I like that. That's really good, bud.
Thank you, Donna. Tiger King is life. And Carol Baskin got the zoo.
Carol Baskin got that zoo, guys. And Joe Exotic wrote a letter that says he's only got a couple months left to live. He's living in hell. His life is falling apart. He can't handle it. He's locked up 23-1. Poor guy. Says he's innocent. Totally innocent. Totally innocent.
It's denial.
That's
best.
denial.
At its
He's in
best.
denial. Yeah.
This is a deep quote. Miss Ed.
They're all in denial in that show.
Hey, Dwight. Thank you for joining our Patreon.
For every minute you are angry, you lose 60 seconds of happiness.
Ooh, that's good. Every minute you're angry, you lose 60 seconds of happiness.
I like you. Hello, Jolie.
Hey, Jolie. No worries. Hey, Jolie, Dwight, if you guys just got here, I've asked everybody in the chat to drop a comment about a personality strength. What is something you're good at? What is something that your personality is strong at? My personality strengths, when I peel the layers back and look at the way God gifted me, I'm a good natural leader. And that's the way God gifted me. And I've always ran from that my whole life, and I'm not doing that no more. But let's look at the difference between neurosis and psychosis. Because neurosis is a relatively mild mental illness that is not caused by organic disease involving symptoms of stress, depression, anxiety, OCD, but not a radical loss of touch of reality. It's not a radical loss of touch of reality. It's a relatively mild mental illness that is not caused by organic disease involving symptoms of stress, but not a radical loss of touch of reality. And now psychosis is a severe mental disorder in which thought and emotions are so impaired that contact is lost with external reality. Teeter says, learned one of my mom and mine old cone committed suicide, so it's been a rough day. Oh, I'm sorry, Teeter, that sucks. My heart goes out to you, brother.
I got another.
Whoa.
Hey, which account do I sign into? I'm signed out
For what?
for YouTube.
Pichu.
This one?
Yep.
I got another quote.
Check on me tomorrow. Make sure I didn't have a mental breakdown. What happened to Aaron? Dwight's a good listener. Oh, that's awesome. That's a good attribute, really, because most people are not good listeners because, I mean, you've probably come across them. You're trying to tell somebody a story. You probably get about a quarter of the way into your story. They cut you off and start talking about the story that you reminded them of. And then even if you get back to your story and they're quiet for a minute, all they're doing is waiting for their turn to talk again. They're not listening. So to be a good listener is a very valuable asset. Good on you, Dwight. Hey, look, Big Hump's in the house. Good to see you, brother. Big Hump, if you just joined us, please drop in the comments a personality strength you see in yourself. What is something you're good at? What is your personality strong at? I want everybody to think right now, as we're going through this, as we're talking about dealing with conflict, chapter 7 in this book, about something, think about yourself and your positive attributes. Everybody has them. You have them. Believe it or not, you've got them. So I want you to think about those as we're going through this. And as we're going through the book, as we're going through this chapter, and you're reminded of one of your positive personality assets, your character strength, throw it in the comments so that we can see.
With a name like Music Lover, you better be a good dancer. Just saying.
That's awesome. Music lover.
I got another quote then.
If you're new here, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We go live every night. And this is all about relapse prevention. If you're drunk or high, you found the right place because we are a loving, supporting community. If you want to get sober, you are in safe, loving, caring hands digitally through everybody in this chat and the people you see in front of you right now. And if you know somebody affected by alcohol who's not an addict like my wife, because she had to live with me being a full-blown drunk, whiskey drinking fool for a few years. So, no
Are you
bueno.
Music
I got another
Lover?
quote then.
Hey, Jacqueline.
Or is Music Lover something?
They say, follow your heart, but if your heart is in a million pieces, which piece do you follow?
That's a deep one, bud.
That's a good question. It's not the same person.
So it's been said that the difference between psychosis and neurosis is that the psychotic, 2 + 2 = 5. While the neurotic says 2 + 2 = 4, and I can't stand it. The not addict accepts that 2 + 2 = 4 and adjusts to this without too much difficulty. The addict, too, may adjust well at times, but at other times the chemical makes the addict psychotic, and still other times neurotic. When reality seems too unbearable, the addict neither adjusts to it nor fantasizes it away. Rather, an actively practicing addict uses chemicals and becomes oblivious to reality. Self-induced psychosis.
Linky, they said good quotes. Yeah. He ran away.
He said thank you. With abstinence, that's what we teach here, is abstinence. Whatever you got to do to get there, we're here to support you. But your end goal should be complete abstinence, because we don't need, obviously seek medical attention and therapy and counselors and stuff like that. But our end goal is to live our lives aligned with our moral values. And abstinence 100% helps in all of that. Because what we're learning is that through chemicals and drug use, we are becoming chemically psychosis, giving ourselves chemical psychosis. So with abstinence, an addicted person must face reality without the escape of chemicals. And that's the hard part. If you don't have drugs or alcohol, now you have to rely, or you have to live life on life's terms. You have to face reality without the escape of chemicals. And that's the part we want to learn together. And as a community, we recover better together. And that's how we learn these things, is by going to meetings, listening into literature, and reaching out when you're hurting. Reach out when you hurt. So this may help us understand why families of addicts, now talking about like Felice looking at me, who may have long been demanding that the addict stop using chemicals. So like for a long time, Felice was demanding I quit using chemicals. She didn't like it. She didn't want it in the house. She didn't want me acting like that. And then there are some times in these types of situations when the addict does quit, that the people who have been pushing for the addict to quit are disappointed when the addict finally stops. The abstinent addict who has not had help in overcoming addictive thinking may actually be harder to live with than a practicing addict. Some families have even nudged an addict into drinking or using again. Because once you are abstinent from alcohol and drugs, you have to learn to cope with life on life's terms. And that's all up here. It's discipline. It's learning. It's being teachable. It's changing it's just like when you go on a diet. You have to change diet. They always say, I'm sure you've heard it if you talked about diets in your life. It's not just changing, it's a lifestyle change. You have to change your lifestyle. You have to completely do what you were not doing before. Where do you guys think you are in this situation? Hey, Soupy, what's going on?
Welcome, Soup and Virginia. Hello.
Virginia, hey, drop us a comment in the chat on one of your personality strengths. Jacqueline's strength is leadership. Hey, me too. And as these strengths come to mind as we're going through this, because you're going to see why I'm doing this, continue to think about them, list them, and then take those with you tomorrow. So contrary to the common belief, addicts do not have, listen to this. Contrary to common belief, addicts do not have more conflict in their lives than anyone else. But that is before chemical use messes everything up. Once the addiction is well underway, the chemically confused mind can generate a lot of conflict. Overwhelming conflict is not responsible for chemical dependency. Rather, it is the addict's distorted perception that makes reality unacceptable. We're all born into this world. We don't get to choose where we live, and everybody has their fair share of conflict in their life. Everybody has, some people got it better than others, but everybody has conflict. Even the people that you seemingly have it better than us, they have their fair share of conflict too. And now they have a choice to be able to learn the tools to handle those conflicts without using chemicals. But a lot of us, me right here, you're looking at him, decided to drown them out by partying and using drugs way beyond normal, drinking way beyond normal. And that made it even worse. So on top of already having conflict in my life, I became an alcoholic addict, and that just compounded and made and generated more and more conflict, unnecessary conflict. But why is this? It's a distorted self-image. The biggest distortion in the addict's self-image is in one or more ways. The addict feels grossly inadequate. Okay? The biggest distortion in the addict's self-image, in one or more ways, the addict feels grossly inadequate. And that's why throughout this show tonight, I want you to list positive personality strengths about yourself. Think about them. You'll think about them. They'll pop up. Oh, hey, I am good at that. Oh, hey, that is something I'm strong at. Oh, people rely on me for this. You're a positive individual, and you have a lot to contribute. Everybody was made different, and that's why we complement each other so well. So here's what that distorted self-image can look like, and maybe some of you guys can relate. A drug-addicted young woman will not date or look at herself in the mirror because she believes she's ugly. She believes she's ugly. She's already lost the battle. That's her distorted self-image. And now she won't even look in the mirror, and she won't dare to date guys because she's already defeated herself with what she thinks about herself.
So I think that would be a yes, Sheree. Inadequate, is that also low self-esteem?
Yep, and we will definitely get into the low self-esteem part of it.
What up, Jay?
Hey, thanks, brother. Somebody I knew would notice. Especially coming from you, James. That means a lot. Thank you very much, brother. A man who is chemically dependent and the author of textbooks on medical pathology. Okay, this dude is an author in the medical pathology. There ain't no dummy writing those kind of books. But he's extremely anxious lecturing to his physicians because he's afraid someone might disagree with him. Although he is the acknowledged international authority, he doesn't see how bright and brilliant he is after even writing and publishing and becoming the international authority behind this subject. And so he gets all kinds of anxiety because he gets in front of people and he doesn't feel smart he feels less of a person in that room as he's teaching other physicians who are looking to him as this great, brilliant mind. That's distorted self-image. An alcoholic, a highly skilled attorney, lives in terror because she thinks what she's doing isn't good enough. She says, my life is like walking through a minefield. I can understand that thinking. You just want to do something and it's not good enough and you just you blow up and you almost quit. You stop almost before you start because you don't think you can make it good enough. It's crazy. So do you guys all know what veneer is, right? Veneer finishes and all that kind of stuff. When we peel these veneer fake finishes are on us, we peel these back. An addict has extremely low self-esteem. If the distorted concept is not corrected, that's kind of cool. This sentence right here gives me hope. It says, if this distorted self-concept is not corrected, which means it can be corrected. That's good. The addictive thinker will find it difficult or impossible to maintain recovery and could develop psychosis, neurosis, or a substitute addiction. Start working on these things about yourself, because if it's very difficult to do or even impossible feeling, or if you find it that way, you're going to find it very difficult to maintain your recovery. And that's what we're here for, to stay sober. Relapse prevention. Remember, Drop a personality strength in the chat. Something positive about yourself. Just keeps winning. The misconception addicts have of themselves precedes the development of a chemical dependency. So a lot of times, 99% of the time, we have these distorted self-images before chemical dependency. That's our first self-image. The low self-esteem that comes with the use of chemicals is of a different kind. So the first kind is the one where, whatever our environment around us, maybe our defense mechanisms in a crazy environment around us growing up, put us in. Some of us are born with some of those character defects, self-distorted imagery. But there is nothing elevating about forgetting what happened yesterday. There's nothing elevating about forgetting what happened yesterday, having a hangover, being a public spectacle, or waking up in jail. These are legitimate reasons why addicts might develop low self-esteem. So basically what that little paragraph is saying, we already have conflict in our life. We already have problems in our life. We already have to untangle. Nobody's parents are perfect. I know my parents are far from perfect. And now that I'm raising kids, I feel bad for those little guys because I'm not perfect. And every person has to untangle, they have to learn life. And then they get dropped into a world that's not fair. It's crazy, it's chaotic, and more than ever right now, this world is insane. And so you have to untangle this mess of a mind from the moment you popped into reality of what's around you. The second you realized you were a person alive in this world, the world's been tearing your mind apart. And then you add alcohol to that. And you make a whole bunch of mistakes from doing drugs and alcohol. You're robbing, lying, stealing, waking up in jail. And now you feel like a loser on top of what you've already had built inside you in your youth. So it's hard to change. So the battle that we fight is not easy. And that's what we need to do together. It's the only way to do it together. And I love the way this ends this chapter because you'll see, this is the secret key. And everybody needs to keep this on their minds as they relate with one another. So changing a negative self-image. Listen to this. Susan, a 37-year-old teacher, was admitted for treatment following a suicide attempt. She had just lost her job due to alcoholism. She had tried to conceal the alcohol on her breath by drinking vanilla extract. But her dysfunction progressed, nevertheless, leading to her dismissal. She got fired. Susan was extremely depressed and very much down on herself. And when he asked her to list some of her personality strengths, she could find no redeeming features in herself. Are you having a hard time right now? Let me know in the chat. Are you having a hard time right now finding personality strengths when you look at yourself? Like Susan here, she got fired from her job because of progressive alcoholism that she tried to hide and then ended up getting canned. And she was extremely depressed. She even tried to commit suicide. Yeah, that's what I said. Just keeps with vanilla extract. What? Why didn't I try that? Obviously, it didn't work. She got fired. I always tried to go for the, if I was drinking in public, if I was drinking at her family's house and they were drinkers, I didn't care. But if we were going to a school event, an assembly, anywhere that it was, more churchgoers around, I would go get that 7 times whipped or distilled vodka, hopes that would be not as stinky.
You're not alone. Just keep swimming. Not alone.
Oh, he tried the vanilla?
That's what it sounds like.
Wow.
How'd that work for you?
So then he points out to her some positive stuff about herself. He says, Susan, you graduated summa cum laude, whatever that is, right? And had won the Phi Beta Kappa award. The least you could have reported. The least you could have reported is that you are intellectually bright. After all, they don't give such awards to stupid people. Susan shook her head sadly. When they told me that I had won that award, I knew they had made a mistake. So she was already, she's brilliant, she's bright, but she don't see it. How do we change it? How do we change the negative self-image of addicts? The low self-esteem that precedes the chemical use. Because this low self-esteem in a lot of us addicts and alcoholics was there before we started. This is a major challenge for someone whose life is in ruins. Right now, if you're 10 days clean, 20 days clean, you got pending charges, you're looking at possible jail time, maybe you're in a battle with custody or 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 whatever they are that want to take your kids. Maybe you've lost your job, maybe you have no money on top of the rioting, on top of COVID. How can we start changing these now in the midst of our lives being ruined once we are coming out of rock bottom, right? It's not easy. Oh, hi, Heather. I'm having trouble even applying for a job due to my poor self-esteem. Heather, you're very pretty. I can tell from your picture, even with the bear ears. Give me an example of something that you see in yourself that's a positive character strength. I can tell right off the bat, you got nice hair, you're pretty. I'll bet you're bright too. Look at her grammar is perfect.
I think you'll do great.
We must remember that it's not only the low self-esteem of this ruined person that needs correction, but also even the pre-ruined person, right? Many addicts seek escape in chemicals because they feel they cannot cope. They must learn they do have healthy coping capabilities. And this following story is going to show us a little bit of what that looks like. The ability to cope with conflict, it's already there. So we just need to become aware of it, becoming aware of what's already there. So this guy, Abram, says he sat down to pay his monthly bills once. He was terribly upset to discover that he didn't have enough money in the checking account. He racked his brain to figure out where the money had gone, couldn't figure it out. And he was left with two options: take out a loan or not pay the bills. So he chose the second one, and it sucked. He says, but about 10 days later, when the bank statement arrived, and he was pleasantly surprised to discover there was more money in the bank account than he thought he had had. He had simply forgotten to record one certain deposit. And there was no need for me to have been upset or to take out a loan. His problem, that although he did have adequate funds to pay his bills, was being unaware of it. His perception of reality was incorrect. Your perception of reality incorrect? Drop in the comments some positive personality strength about yourself. There's more in you than you think. In the same way, an addictive thinker needs to become aware of what is already there. They invariably have the ability to cope with conflicts. You have this ability to cope with conflicts once they become aware that they have the skills they need. We have money in the bank. Once you realize you have the skills to cope with life on life's terms, you got this. And you'll see. And then it'll just start getting better too. Hey, Jerry, what's up, brother?
Hi, Jerry.
Heather says she is intelligent.
Yes. But her life choices indicate she's not very smart.
Hey, we've been going through this book. It seems like you're a first timer here. We've been going through this book, and the first part, the first 6 chapters we went through was talking about addictive thinking. That's what this book is. It's Addictive Thinking by Abram Tversky, Understanding Self-Deception. And he goes through a bunch of examples of how addictive thinking happens to the most intelligent people. A lot of times more intelligent people have more of a problem with addictive thinking. How do we convince people Okay, now this is our jobs. Now that we are learning this, now that we are practicing the 12 steps, whatever program, we are lining up our values and living our behavioral lifestyle according to our values now, right? That's the goal of recovery. So how do we convince people with low self-esteem that they have self-worth? We begin by having that conviction about them. So now we understand they have low self-esteem, but we know that there's more in the bank. We know there's strengths in your personality and your character and mine as well. So now when we come together as we are recovering, we look for these personality strengths in that person. And as soon as you see and recognize one, compliment that person immediately. If we value them as worthy human beings, we can safely assume that our feelings will be conveyed to them. Empty compliments and flattery are of no value. But we must always be on the alert, to identify every positive feature in their past and present. Think about something you've accomplished in your life in the past. That's a positive personality strength. And that's in you. And let's give each other reasons to feel proud about ourselves. Karen's a child of God, and he sees your worth. He died for you, right? Amen.
Amen.
So generally people are quite adept at catching others doing something wrong. Have you noticed that in your nature? Shut the door. Sorry. Live TV here, y'all. When we see other people, our instant knee-jerk reaction is usually criticism, and it's so easy for us to do. We got a couple lovely ladies joining the show.
This is my best friend, Tibiana.
That's her best friend, Tibiana.
Get back here. You're fine.
Okay, get out of here. Get. Go now. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Hi, girl.
Generally, people are quite adept at catching others doing something wrong. Oh, look at that piece of crap. Oh, she's an idiot. Well, we're instantly negative easily, and it just flows out so easily. Stop yourself from doing that and try. Put yourself on high alert to see the positive in people, and when you see a personality strength, compliment them on it. You'll feel better yourself, and then you'll see that person feel better, and then you'll feel better. I mean, it's just a compounding thing. So in dealing with addicts, we must be on alert to catch them doing something right and commend them for it. Hey, good job. Michael Teeter, he sent me a text, and I'm sure he won't mind me sharing this. He went to the store. He had to buy something. Of course, COVID-19. You're supposed to go COVID-19, and I'm going to go
COVID-19.
Remember that guy? And so Teeter couldn't, cigarettes, I think it was, or something. And so they didn't sell them at the one spot because it was closed for quarantine. They're only letting people buy things at certain. She's like, no, you got to go over to the liquor part of the store and buy it. And he's like, nope, I'm in recovery. I ain't going over there. Please sell me some smokes. And she's like, good on you. Here's some cigarettes. Get out of here. Good on Teeter. That's positive character, personality strengths, and working his program, staying sober. He said, nope, on the other side of that wall or wherever it was, that's a high-risk situation. I'm not going there. Good on you, Michael. With addicts, overcoming their misconceptions of reality is very complicated. Someone who is now, say, 42 may have self-doubt since the age of 3. I'm 40. I'll be 41 in a few days. There are things I remember from being like 5 or 6 that I did carry along with me throughout my life. And it was just a false and what's the exact word I'm looking for? It was just a distorted self-image of myself. I didn't see the reality. I didn't see the deposit that was in the bank there. I do now. So someone who is now 42 may have had self-doubt since the age of 3. Much time and effort will be needed to undo that misconception. So remember, to the addict, the misconception is reality. Yeah, he ratted himself out. Good on you, brother. And with that, let's listen to Cassie's quote of the day.
Good evening, my recovering addict family. I'm here today with your motivational quote. True self-discovery begins where your comfort zone ends. Adam Braun. And as always, every single night, let's bring it together and continue to spread that love.
All right, Cassie.
Yeah. Love you, Cassie.
Love you, Cassie.
Looking beautiful as always.
Jerry says, I try to see the good in people, even if there isn't. Good practice. Good on you, Jerry. And that takes practice to do that, especially if it's hard to do, because I know it is hard to see in some people. Some people make it very difficult. And then we have to look at that person as, oh, they're sick. Why are they acting that way? They have a poor image of themselves, you know? And so I don't know. Learning what we're learning tonight should draw more empathetic responses from us when we deal with hard to deal with people. Because how hard were we to deal with? Come on now. Come on. Can I get a hallelujah for that one?
Hallelujah.
Heather loves that quote. And Cassie's awesome. Awesome with the quotes. And she's beautiful.
She does them the best.
Des says he's 63, he has major knee surgery, so can't work at the moment. My wife said to me, I don't contribute to the household. My self-worth went out the window. Oh, you're a man. Yeah, I can imagine. That would be tough when you're the provider in the family to have a physical ailment that makes it pretty much impossible. If your knees don't work, man. I got bad knees, and I'm trying to take care of them now.
You're bad.
Oh, man. They're bad.
They're terrible. I lost my page.
So here's the either or rule. Addictive thinking is often also characterized by the rigidity of thought, what we may call the either or rule. The addicted person is likely to think in extremes with little understanding that there is flexibility in resolution or problems. With that being said, concentrate on the term middle ground. For example, a newly recovering husband may not be able to decide whether to divorce or to stay with his wife. It's extremes. I'm all in, I'm all out. But he could try temporary separation while he begins to work out his sobriety and his wife gets counseling. But his alternative has this alternative has never occurred to him. There's no flexibility in us addicts' minds. It's one extreme or the other. We have to learn to find that middle ground in our extreme thinking. The lack of flexibility or the consideration of alternatives causes a lot of frustration. So our inability to see another choice, another middle ground in between two extremes is a cause of a lot of frustration because most people are not comfortable with either extreme. So we look at both extremes, we're like, no. Oh, wait, there's something in the middle, and that's something we can't see. It is not clear why their option and intermediate possibilities between extremes does not occur to the addictive thinker. Still, the addict's logic does not appear faulty. If there were only the two choices, both unsatisfactory, frustration would be justified. So if we are unaware of the nature of addictive thinking, we could get fooled by and share the addict's frustration when conflict arises. Now you were thinking about yourself. Now we flipped it back to where we're thinking about somebody else. We come across addicts. We see after the layers are peeled back, they have low self-esteem. our job now is to be on high alert to treat this person and give them positive reassurance about their strengths, right? On top of that, when we see them frustrated between two choices, we understand addictive thinking, that they have a very, 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 and we have a difficult time. So when they're frustrated, just like I saw Jerry say something about, what is something about being right?
Jerry.
Hallelujah, Jerry said. He says, Heather said that.
Heather.
Be kind, not right, when dealing with others. So we see it in ourselves. We've experienced it ourselves. We have a very difficult time getting that middle ground. Now when we are dealing with addicts, because guess what? We're a community. We recover better together. We go to AA meetings. When we are confronted by addicts who are frustrated, who haven't learned this addictive thinking yet, we can act with compassion. We can be kind, not right in those situations. And as soon as we see a positive personality strength, what do? Add a boy, add a girl. So if we are unaware of the nature of the addictive thinking, we could get fooled and share the addict's frustration when conflict arises. So being alert to this should enable us to help the addict find appropriate solutions. And that, my friends, is chapter 7, conflict resolution. If you got value out of this, please hit that like button. If you're new here, hit subscribe. Ring that bell, because we are here live every single night. And thank you guys for being here. And now that it's getting closer to the end, we got about 10 more minutes left before we pray and read our NA thought of the day. How's my audio? I checked I was listening to my audio from last night's stream, and it seemed like I was blowing out the speakers. So I turned it back a couple of notches and kept it closer to my face. So any sound wizards out there, how's my audio?
Usually Bob's my audio guy. He says, get closer to the mic.
Does Bob? I haven't seen Bob in a couple
Where's
days.
Bob?
He's probably working his butt off.
Oh, yeah, probably. I want to go drive up the street and see if there's any fresh tomatoes yet. Is it tomato season yet?
I doubt
just saw something audio today. It was there and then it was gone.
I highly doubt it. Personality strengths, you guys. Y'all got them. And I guarantee if I hung out with you long enough, I'd see a million of them. And you may see some in me too. No, Teeter, I'm not spilling my tea today. Thank you, Heather. Sounds good. Thank you very much. Music lover. I've been needing this so long. Well, dude or dudette, well, I'm not sure. What you just said is very encouraging to me. The time that we put into this, I hope you gain value. And I hope it helps assist you in your recovery and beyond your recovery, and to just personal happiness. Our goal after we get rid of drugs and alcohol, like I've told people before, I was sitting in my IOP. I was there for 5 months from 5:30 to 9 o'clock every single night, Monday through Friday. And then I had mandatory meetings on the weekends. And about 3 months in, recovery finally clicks. I get that spiritual awakening. I get that paradigm shift. Wow. I am here to make my life happy. I'm here to be happy because, the average life on earth is only 72 years. I'm 40 years old. That gives me another 32 years if I die at 72. I could die tomorrow, of course. But I want to live life happy. Don't you just want to be happy? And then I was like, these tools are teaching me how to do that, how to live life on life's terms, how to be completely present and aware in any situation. And then all of a sudden I had the realization, oh, wait a minute, I was here to quit drinking. Recovery becomes more than abstinence from drugs and alcohol. Once it takes effects, once you have that paradigm shift and that spiritual awakening.
Our name tags are backwards. Or are they?
They are.
Maybe my name is Auntie.
No, it's not.
Well, it is now.
Your name is Mr. Weaver.
It is Mr. Weaver. I keep it on my desk because I think it's funny.
Ricky says, so I'm dealing with this addictive personality. I have to also deal with addictive thinking. Well, damn.
I'm all screwed up. Oh.
Bro, we're aware of it. We're learning the tools, man. You're not screwed. We are all screwed up, true. But we have the tools to correct it.
Yes.
And man, talk about life being easier.
Audio's good.
Sweet as well. Thank you.
Oh shoot.
There's John. What's up, brother?
Hey, John.
How's everybody doing at them houses?
You're welcome, Dwight.
Welcome, Dwight. Hope you got some value. This is way better than struggling alone. Absolutely, brother. I had something to look forward to, and you guys in this community delivered. Stay blessed. Thanks, brother. Thank you again. Say hi to Little Hump for us.
Oh,
I thought that was so cool.
that was cool. They did get mixed up when we spilled the tea.
Oh, you're right.
They got all.
That was a
sorts of
live
factors.
mishap there, right there for y'all.
So somebody I saw in
You're
the
welcome,
chat
Jeff.
has the COVID. Remind me who it was.
Somebody's got COVID right now?
Day 13, but I can't remember who it was.
A friend of ours at work's son has it.
Ah, please do, Heather. Please do.
Please do. Thank you.
Came in late and just found the stream. I've been needing to go to AA, but the pandemic was preventing me. I like what you guys are doing.
Thanks, Israel.
Thanks,
Stick around.
Israel.
Follow us on Facebook. And if you just came in late, I'll give you a little nutshell spill of what we do here. I'm an alcoholic addict. In the early 2000s, I was a meth addict tweaker. You know, committing crimes, stealing to do what I got to do, lying, cheating, stealing, all the crimes, right? I ended up getting caught, got a second-degree felony. I was looking at 1 to 15 in prison. Ended up locked up for a year, halfway house for 4 months. I was on probation for a year or 3 years after that. And the day I got off probation, I started smoking weed again. None of the crap they taught me kicked into my head that I was an addict. I didn't just have a drug problem and screwed up because I was partying and selling my oats. I'm an addict. And so I smoked weed until I was like 26 or 27. And it was time for me to switch jobs to a job that required drug tests. So I quit everything. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. I quit smoking cigarettes. I quit smoking weed, everything. And I was clean, like as clean as, as abstinent as you can get for a good 5 years without recovery. Okay. Abstinence and recovery are two different things. I was abstinent from drugs and alcohol, but I did not recover. By the time I was 33, I started drinking again, just occasionally, parties, barbecues. And by the time I hit 40, I had become a fifth a night, gallons on the weekend, whiskey out of the bottle. I may have started off with water, but didn't last long until I had to detox. I had to check myself into a hospital and detox for 3 nights, 4 days. And then I spent 5 months in an IOP. I transitioned out of this IOP, and I'm currently still in the aftercare portion of it. I just completed step 7 yesterday, and now I understand recovery. The first 5 years being sober, didn't get it. I get it now, and that's all I'm about now. So here you're going to find education. This is our 3rd book we've gone through, Addictive Thinking. We go through AA. We go through anything. We have special guests. We have testimonies. And Friday, if you remember a couple of nights ago, my friend Matt came on the show right here, sat right here, and gave his story, right, of his alcoholism. This Friday, his wife is coming because she's not an alcoholic or an addict. And her and Felice are going to have an Al-Anon show, basically. What did these 2 girls have to deal with living with 2 drunks, right? You're going to hear Matt's wife's side of the story. You're going to hear Felice's side of the story. Felice says she's going to come prepared with some bullets, through some education to keep her on track as she goes through as this, but they're going to share their story back and forth, and it's going to remind them of things, and they're just going to chit chat back and forth about what it's like to live with an alcoholic. And so that's going to be a special show for you guys this Friday.
Hey, thanks, Cassie.
Thank you, Cassie.
Good evening, Alan.
What's up, Big Al?
His mercies are new every morning. That gives me hope. Have you heard the Giddy song?
What is that one? I forgot.
His mercy is more.
Yep.
Stronger than darkness. That's all I know.
New every more.
Yeah, there's like
Mercies are
things.
news evermore. Praise the Lord.
His
Mercy is more.
It's a good song.
Stronger than darkness.
New
New every hour.
It's new every morning.
New every morning.
For sure.
Though my sins, they are many, his mercy is more.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Look that one up. The Giddies. Good stuff. My wife and I. You, John, and your wife. Oh, see, I knew. It was in there. It was in there somewhere.
Oh, you guys
doing?
got it? Dang it. How you feeling? Oh, wow. As usual,
They're from Spokane.
NA,
Love
we
you,
are in
Michelle.
Utah. We are in the great state of Utah.
Yes, we are.
So changing motives. When we finally get our own selfish motives out of the way, we begin to find a peace that we never imagined possible. A peace we never imagined possible. And just so, if you guys are new here, you can download this from the App Store. It's called Key Tag for NA. You push it. It keeps your sobriety date and your key tag right there. And then you click the bottom of it, and it has the Just for Today daily meditation. And so we just read basic text, page 45. And every time I read this, it goes like perfectly in line with what we've been talking about. So as we examine our beliefs, our actions, our motives in recovery, we'll find that sometimes we do things for the wrong reasons. In early recovery, we may have spent a great deal of money and time on people, wanting only for them to like us. Later on, we may find that we still spend money on people, but our motives have changed. We do it because we like them. Or perhaps we used to get romantically involved because we felt hollow inside and were seeking fulfillment through another person. Now, our reasons for romantic involvement are based in a desire to share our already rewarding lives with an equal partner. Maybe we used to work the steps because we were afraid we'd relapse if we didn't. But today we work the steps because we want to grow spiritually. That's what I was talking about. We have a new purpose in this life, and our changing motives reflect that. We have so much more to offer than our needlessness and insecurities. We have developed a wholesome of spirit and a peace of mind that moves our recovery into a new realm. We extend our love and share our recovery with complete generosity. And the difference we make is the legacy we leave to those who have yet to join us. So just for today, in recovery, my motives have changed. I want to do things for the right reasons, not just for my personal benefit. Today, I will examine my motives. So today, examine the motives and contemplate and think about your personality strengths, because y'all got money in the bank. You have more in you than you know. I'm going to put this little banner up. I put this up here a while ago, but I think it totally relates. Right there. You are much more wonderful than you even know. And you are. Think about it. Know it. Own it. What you putting in there?
The song we just sang.
Oh.
Can
Yeah,
you
it's not
play
good.
it, or will we get copyrighted?
I could probably just link it in there for him. It's not good. My wife and I had double pneumonia. Ooh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
still feel weak. Doing our best to participate in the meetings. God bless you all and be safe. Dang, John, well, you're in our prayers, brother. Pamela, you are welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Jerry, you're awesome. Heather, thank you for being here. I'm glad you showed up. It's very encouraging that you're here with us and learning, and we're all recovering. That's our motto. We recover better together. You're going to hear me say that a lot on the show. We actually have t-shirts with it written on the back.
Yeah, we do.
But as soon as Felice gets done, I won't pray us up on out of here.
I'm going to put the Facebook group in the thing too. Y'all who are new can join our Facebook group. It's a wonderful community with wonderful, loving people. We do keep out the trolls, so don't be afraid to join. It says Oin. I forgot the J. You know what it
Yeah,
is.
join our private Facebook group. There you can find a lot of hope, inspiration, and strength, and some very, very good people. Reach out, slide up into each other's DMs for, reach out to me. You can go to that Facebook page. You can hit send me a message. There is an automatic response. It says, hey, I'm all into recovery. I'll get back to you in a few. But I will respond. there you can hit me up, and the more we get to know each other, the closer we get, and the more I help and I talk to and pray for a lot of people who reach out to me. I reach out and I try to help the best that I can. With the experience that I've lived these 41 years of being an alcoholic addict drunk who has a paradigm shift and wants to be happy. And that's my goal.
Being happy is nice.
And what we learn, I want to keep teaching. And it's a blessing for me to sit here and do this. If you guys want to see what kind of a blessing it is, grab a piece of paper with some literature on it that's very powerful for your recovery. And then sit somebody down and walk them through that and teach them that. And watch how much more you learn. And that's kind of, you'll kind of get an idea of what I get out of reading these books and then just talking about them up here. Ready?
Yeah, congrats on Corey. Real
Yes.
quick. This month, this is
18 months, brother. Good job, Corey. So proud of you. He's been here from the beginning, too.
Mhm.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And thank you, God, for everything you've given us. Thank you for sobriety. Thank you for understanding and the ability to learn and reason and to change our lives as we learn and get closer to you. Let us store up treasure in heaven that we may draw from the spiritual bank later when we need it. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. We love you, Cherie.
Okay, we are here every night, 8 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time, right out of northern Utah. And we will be back tomorrow night where we will go through chapter 8, talking about hypersensitivity.
Ooh,
That's tomorrow's topic, hypersensitivity.
interesting.
But until then, y'all never put yourself in a high-risk situation. You stay strong, you work your program, and you remember, we recover better together.
Together.